dive into today's episode, I just want to remind you to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us. It helps us grow, reach more amazing learners like you, and keep bringing you fresh and fun content every week. So don't forget, like, subscribe, and let's keep this journey going strong. Hello, wonderful idiom explorers, and a very warm welcome back to another exciting episode of Idiom Insights. I'm Emma, your enthusiastic guide, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you again, ready to delve into the fascinating nuances of some more common English phrases. It's always a pleasure to share this learning journey with you, whether you're a longtime listener or joining us for the very first time, as we navigate the colorful and often surprising world of English.
And I'm Jack, your co-host and ever-curious word detective, here to help unravel the meanings and perhaps share a chuckle or two as we explore the rich, vibrant landscape of idiomatic English. It's genuinely wonderful to be back in the Idiom Insights studio, Emma, and a big enthusiastic hello to all our fantastic listeners tuning in from various corners of the globe. Thanks for choosing to spend your valuable time with us for another dose of idiom discovery.
It's always a joy, Jack. Today, we've carefully selected 4 incredibly useful and vivid idioms that you'll undoubtedly encounter in everyday English, from casual conversations to movies and books. Understanding these will not only significantly boost your comprehension, making English much less baffling, but also provide you with more natural, expressive, and engaging ways to communicate your own thoughts and observations. These phrases we're looking at today truly cover a wonderful spectrum of life: perfection, learning from our missteps, talking about our local areas, and even celebrating major life milestones like getting married.
A truly excellent and wonderfully varied mix today, Emma. These are precisely the kinds of idioms that really add character, color, and depth to any conversation, allowing speakers to convey meaning with more flair. Here are the 4 idioms we'll be diving into in this episode of Idiom Insights. So get your notebooks ready. First, an idiom for something that is absolutely perfect or flawless. Picture perfect. Second, a phrase acknowledging that we gain wisdom from our mistakes and experiences. A truly universal sentiment. Live and learn. Third, an informal and rather charming way to refer to a particular area or neighborhood. Neck of the woods. And finally, a common and delightful idiom for getting married. Tie the knot.
Those are all fantastic and very common idioms, Jack. Each one paints a very clear mental picture and is used with considerable frequency, so getting a solid understanding of them will be incredibly beneficial for our listeners as they engage in English conversations, watch English language media, or read English texts. They are truly staples of everyday communication.
I couldn't agree more, Emma. They're all remarkably practical and insightful, adding that special idiomatic flavor to the language. And before we delve into the fascinating intricacies of our first idiom, we have a quick and sincere request from both of us here at Idiom Insights. If you're finding these episodes valuable for your English learning journey and you enjoy our weekly explorations into the world of phrases, please take a moment to subscribe or follow our podcast on your preferred listening platform.
Yes, subscribing is absolutely the best way to ensure you don't miss any of our future idiom adventures and linguistic discoveries. We have so many more exciting phrases lined up, and if you're feeling extra supportive, and we hope you are, a like or a positive rating on your podcast platform truly helps other English learners discover Idiom Insights and join our growing community. We are so incredibly grateful for your engagement and continued support. It really fuels our passion for creating this content for you.
It genuinely makes a massive difference, more than you might think. Thank you all for being such an integral part of our Idiom Insights community. Right then, Emma, are you ready to unwrap our first idiom, which already sounds visually appealing and quite delightful?
Let's do it. Our first idiom for this episode of Idiom Insights is picture perfect.
Picture perfect. This sounds like something that looks so good, so flawless. It could be in a photograph or a beautifully composed painting. Is that the fundamental idea behind it, Emma?
That's exactly the essence of it, Jack. When we say something is picture perfect, we mean it is absolutely flawless, ideal, or exquisitely beautiful, exactly as you would want it to be, much like a perfect, professionally taken picture. It describes a scene, moment, or situation that is so utterly perfect it looks as though it has been professionally arranged, staged, or photographed for maximum aesthetic appeal. It sets a very high standard.
So it's really about absolute perfection in appearance or circumstance. An almost unblemished ideal if you go on holiday and the weather is consistently beautiful. The hotel exceeds all expectations. The food is divine, and the scenery is simply stunning. You might describe your holiday as picture perfect. Everything was just wonderfully ideal without a single hitch.
Precisely. Or imagine a wedding day where every single element aligns flawlessly. The bride looks radiant. The ceremony is deeply touching. The reception is joyful and vibrant. And even the unpredictable weather cooperates with a sunny sky. That would undeniably be a picture-perfect wedding. It suggests an ideal and flawless scenario, often visually stunning or emotionally harmonious, leaving a lasting, beautiful impression.
It certainly implies a very high standard of perfection, doesn't it? Not just good or even very good, but truly perfect. Like something straight out of a glossy magazine, a postcard, or even a cherished dream. It sounds like it's most often used for describing scenes, events, or sometimes even people's appearances, if they look absolutely flawless and impeccably put together.
Yes, that's absolutely right. You might describe a beautifully decorated room for a special occasion, a breathtaking sunset over the ocean, a perfectly behaved child at a particular, perhaps fleeting moment, or a meticulously planned and executed event as picture perfect. It effectively conveys a sense of ideal beauty, harmony, and flawlessness in that specific context.
So, if a family takes a photograph on holiday and everyone is genuinely smiling, the background is breathtakingly beautiful, and the lighting is just right. Casting a warm glow, they might say the photo itself is picture perfect, meaning it's a flawless and ideal image that captures a precious memory beautifully.
Exactly. It perfectly captures that sense of ideal, visual, or situational perfection, a moment frozen in its utmost beauty.
Okay, so picture perfect means absolutely flawless, ideal, or beautiful, as if it were a perfect picture, a true visual delight. Ready to hear Mia and Mark use this idiom in a conversation?
Let's listen in. I wonder what scene or wonderfully perfect situation they might be describing.
Mark, I was just looking through Sarah's photos from her honeymoon in the Maldives. Oh my goodness, Mark. They are absolutely breathtaking. Every single one.
Oh, Sarah's honeymoon pics? Yes, I think I saw a few she posted online. It certainly looked like an incredible and very romantic trip. The water was such an unbelievable shade of blue, and the beaches looked pristine, like something from a dream.
Exactly. Every single photo looks like it came straight out of a high-end travel magazine. The sunsets were vibrant and fiery. Their little private villa over the crystal clear water was absolutely stunning, and they both looked so genuinely happy and incredibly relaxed. It just seemed like the most idyllic, flawless holiday imaginable.
It sounds like it was truly picture perfect then. Everything just ideal, smooth, with no problems or disappointments at all. Like a dream come true for them.
That's exactly how she described it. She said it was even better than she had ever dreamed. Every single day was just picture perfect, from the glorious weather to the delicious food to the amazing experiences they shared. I'm so incredibly, wonderfully jealous.
That was a wonderful and very clear example. Mia described Sarah's honeymoon as picture perfect, powerfully emphasizing how flawless, beautiful, and ideal everything seemed to be. Just like a perfect photograph or a scene meticulously crafted for a travel brochure. The idiom really conveyed the high level of perfection.
Precisely. The idiom conveyed the absolute perfection and idyllic nature of the holiday, where every single aspect, big or small, seemed utterly flawless and breathtakingly beautiful. It really painted a vivid image of an ideal, almost dreamlike experience for the listener.
It's a very common and highly expressive way to describe something that meets an incredibly high, ideal standard of beauty or perfection.
It is indeed. So next time you encounter a scene, a special moment, or a situation that is absolutely flawless and stunningly beautiful, remember the evocative idiom, picture perfect.
And we'd love to hear about something you've experienced that was picture perfect. What was it? Was it a landscape, an event, a special meal? Share your idyllic moments in the comments section below this episode.
Great idea, Jack. Let's move on now to our second idiom in this episode of Idiom Insights. This one is a very well-known piece of wisdom about gaining experience, often through less than perfect situations.
Our second idiom today is live and learn.
Live and learn. This is a very common saying, often uttered with a sigh or a shrug after something has gone wrong or a mistake has been made. What's the core meaning of this philosophical little phrase, Jack?
You're spot on, Emma. Live and learn is a philosophical and often pragmatic expression used to acknowledge that we gain knowledge, wisdom, and a deeper understanding of the world and ourselves from our experiences, especially and perhaps most poignantly, from our mistakes or misfortunes. It essentially means that life itself is an ongoing learning process, and we often learn our most valuable lessons from the things that go wrong or don't turn out as we had planned or hoped.
So it's a way of accepting a mistake or a negative experience and recognizing, often with hindsight, that there's a lesson to be learned from it, a silver lining of sorts. If you try a new, ambitious recipe for a dinner party and it turns out to be a complete, unmitigated disaster, you might say with a rueful smile, "Oh well, live and learn." I definitely won't be trying that particular combination of exotic ingredients again anytime soon. You've learned what not to do, and perhaps to stick to simpler dishes under pressure.
Precisely. Or if you place your trust in someone who then disappoints you or lets you down significantly, you might reflect on the situation later and say, live and learn. I'll certainly be more careful and discerning about who I trust so readily in the future. It's a way of acknowledging a past error in judgment or action and taking the often painful experience as a lesson for future conduct, often with a sense of resignation, acceptance, or even a touch of stoicism.
It's quite a mature and often comforting perspective to adopt, isn't it? It implies that mistakes are not just failures to be lamented, but rather valuable opportunities for personal growth, for reflection, and for gaining wisdom that can serve us well later on. It helps us to move on from negative experiences by reframing them as essential learning opportunities rather than just sources of regret.
Yes, it very often carries a tone of, that was unfortunate, perhaps even painful, but I've learned something important from it, and I won't make the same mistake again. It's not about dwelling on the mistake itself, but rather focusing on the lesson gleaned from the experience. You might use it after making a poor financial decision, after a relationship ends unexpectedly, or after a much-anticipated project fails to meet its goals. It's a verbal shrug that signifies acceptance and learning.
So, it's fundamentally about acknowledging that all of life's experiences, both the good and the bad, the triumphs and the tribulations, contribute to our ever-expanding knowledge and understanding of the world and our place in it.
Exactly. Every experience, no matter how challenging or unpleasant at the time, teaches us something valuable, even if it's just what to avoid next time.
So, live and learn is an expression acknowledging that we gain wisdom and understanding from our experiences, especially from mistakes or misfortunes. Ready to hear Mia and Mark use this insightful idiom in their conversation?
Let's listen in. I wonder what mistake or perhaps surprising experience one of them might be reflecting on with this phrase.
Oh, Mia, I feel so incredibly foolish. I just bought this really expensive new software online that promised to organize all my thousands of digital photos automatically, but it's incredibly complicated to use. And it actually made an even bigger mess of my already chaotic photo library. I've wasted so much money and time.
Oh no, Mark, that's so frustrating and incredibly annoying. I can imagine how disappointed you must be. Did you read lots of independent reviews before you bought it? Or perhaps try a demo version if one was available?
No, that's precisely the thing, Mia. I just saw a very flashy, persuasive advertisement and got completely carried away by all the grand promises it made. I didn't do nearly enough research or check independent, unbiased reviews. I just impulsively clicked buy without thinking it through. Now I really regret it.
Well, Mark, it's an easy mistake to make, especially when something looks so appealing and beneficial online. Don't be too hard on yourself. Many of us have been there. Think of it this way. You've learned a valuable lesson about the importance of doing thorough research before buying expensive software or making significant online purchases. As they always say, live and learn, right?
You're right, Mia. I absolutely won't make that same mistake again, that's for sure. It's an expensive lesson, admittedly, but it's a lesson nonetheless. Live and learn. I'll be much more cautious and diligent with online purchases in the future.
That dialogue perfectly and very relatably illustrates the idiom. Mark made a mistake by impulsively buying software without conducting enough prior research, and Mia wisely used live and learn to help him frame the negative experience as a constructive learning opportunity, a way to gain valuable wisdom for future decisions. You could hear the shift in his acceptance.
Exactly. And Mark himself then adopted the idiom to acknowledge his mistake and the important lesson he had learned from it. It beautifully showed the phrase being used for accepting a past error, processing the consequences, and then moving forward with new understanding and a changed approach.
It's a very common and often comforting way to respond to our own or others' mistakes or disappointments, a gentle reminder that experience is a great teacher.
It is indeed. So next time you or someone you know makes a mistake or has an unfortunate experience, remember the wise and accepting words, live and learn.
And we'd love to hear about a lesson you've learned where you thought to yourself, well, live and learn. What was the situation and what did you take away from it? Share your experiences and the wisdom gained in the comments below the episode.
Wonderful idea, Jack. Let's move on now to our third idiom in this episode of Idiom Insights. This one is a charmingly informal term related to location.
Our third idiom for today is neck of the woods.
Neck of the woods. This is a rather quaint and wonderfully informal sounding phrase. What does it mean when someone refers to their neck of the woods, Jack? It sounds a bit mysterious.
It is a charmingly informal and somewhat old-fashioned phrase, Emma. Your neck of the woods refers to your particular local area, your neighborhood, your district, or the general region where you live or perhaps where you come from. It's a casual, friendly way of talking about a specific locality that is familiar to the speaker. The neck part is thought by some to originally refer to a narrow strip of land or woods, perhaps a distinct settlement, and woods just broadly means a general area or vicinity.
So it's an informal synonym for my area, my neighborhood, or where I live. It sounds much more folksy and personal. If someone says, I haven't seen many vibrant red cardinals in my neck of the woods this year, they simply mean in their local area or around their home.
Precisely. Or if you are visiting a friend in a different city and they greet you warmly by saying, welcome to my neck of the woods. Let me show you around all my favorite spots. They are welcoming you to their particular part of the city, their home turf, their neighborhood. It often implies a relatively small, familiar area to the speaker, a place they know well.
It sounds quite friendly, warm, and colloquial. Is it used more in rural contexts, given the woods part, or can it be used in urban settings as well? Does the original meaning still influence its modern usage?
That's a good question. It can definitely be used in both rural and urban contexts, though the woods part might indeed make it sound slightly more rural in its historical origin. However, it's very commonly used by people in cities and suburbs as well, simply to mean my local area or my part of town. For example, one might say, the new artisan coffee shop that just opened in our neck of the woods is really popular and always busy.
So, if I'm traveling, perhaps overseas, and I happen to meet someone who, by sheer coincidence, comes from the same general region or even the same county as me, I might exclaim with surprise, "Oh, you're from that neck of the woods too! What a small world!"
Exactly. It's a friendly, informal, and often slightly whimsical way to refer to a particular locality that is familiar and perhaps dear to the speaker, or to inquire about someone else's home area.
So, your neck of the woods is your particular local area, neighborhood, or region, spoken of in a familiar and informal manner. Ready to hear Mia and Mark use this informal idiom?
Let's listen in. I wonder if they are talking about their own local areas, or perhaps planning a visit to someone else's familiar territory.
Mark, I'm thinking of going for a really long, invigorating hike this weekend. Do you happen to know any good trails around here? I feel like I've explored all the usual well-trodden spots near my apartment complex. I'm craving somewhere new.
Good trails for a long hike. Well, if you're willing to drive a little bit, say about an hour or so, there are some absolutely fantastic hiking trails up in my neck of the woods, about an hour north of the city. It's much more hilly and densely forested up there than it is around your more urban area here.
Oh, really? Your neck of the woods? I didn't realize you lived so close to a more rural and scenic area. That sounds intriguing. What are the trails like there? Are they well maintained?
They're beautiful, Mia. There's a wonderful state park with several well-marked paths, ranging from easy, gentle strolls suitable for families to more challenging, steep climbs. that reward you with great panoramic views from the top. It's very peaceful, and you often see a lot of wildlife like deer and various birds. Not many people from the city even know about it, so it's usually not too crowded, which is a big plus. It's genuinely one of the best things about living in my particular neck of the woods.
That sounds absolutely perfect, Mark. Just what I'm looking for. I'd love to explore a new area and get away from the city bustle. Could you perhaps send me some details about those trails? Maybe a map or a link?
That dialogue clearly and effectively shows the idiom in use. Mark referred to the area where he lives as my neck of the woods, using it as a natural and informal way to describe his specific local region, which he highlighted had different characteristics, more rural, hilly, forested, than Mia's more urban area.
Exactly. It conveyed a sense of his familiar local territory, a place he knows and clearly appreciates, and Mia immediately understood it as referring to a specific part of the wider region. It's a very natural, common, and friendly way to talk about one's local area or to invite someone to visit.
It's a lovely, friendly-sounding idiom that adds a touch of personality to the conversation.
It is indeed. So next time you want to refer to your local area or someone else's neighborhood in an informal, friendly way, remember the charming idiom, neck of the woods.
And we'd love to hear a little bit about your neck of the woods. What's it like where you live? What are some of its unique features or hidden gems? Share a brief description in the comments below the episode.
Wonderful idea, Emma. Now, we've arrived at our fourth and final idiom for this episode of Idiom Insights. This one is a very common and celebratory phrase for a big, joyous life event.
Our final idiom for today, and it's a well-known one, is tie the knot.
Tie the knot. This certainly sounds like it involves some string or rope. What kind of knot are we actually talking about here, and what does it signify when people tie the knot, Emma?
Well, it does indeed involve a metaphorical knot, Jack, a very significant one. To tie the knot is a very common, popular, and informal idiom that simply means to get married. The knot beautifully symbolizes the bond of marriage, the strong and lasting union, the joining together of two people in matrimony.
So it's a more colloquial and often more lighthearted way of saying to get married or to wed. If a couple has been dating for a long time, perhaps many years, and they finally decide to get married, their friends and family might exclaim with delight, "I hear Sarah and David are finally going to tie the knot next summer. How wonderful!"
Precisely. Or someone might playfully ask a long-term couple, perhaps at a family gathering, "So, when are you two lovebirds planning to tie the knot?" It's a widely understood and frequently used expression for the act of marriage. The origin is a bit debated, as with many idioms, but one prominent theory suggests it refers to an old Celtic wedding ceremony called hand fasting, where the couple's hands were literally tied together with a ribbon or cord to symbolize their union and commitment to each other. This visual representation of a bond is quite powerful.
That's a lovely and very evocative image. It makes the knot part of the idiom very clear and understandable. So it's not just about getting engaged, but the actual act of getting married, the wedding ceremony itself, or the formal commencement of the state of being married.
Yes, it specifically refers to the act of getting married. You tie the knot when you have the wedding ceremony and become legally and officially married. It's generally considered a slightly more lighthearted, informal, or even romantic way to talk about getting married than using more formal terms like wed or solemnize a marriage.
So if your best friend calls you up sounding very excited and says, "Guess what? We've just decided to tie the knot in a small, intimate ceremony next month with just close family and friends," they are joyfully telling you they are getting married very soon.
Exactly. It's a very common, instantly recognizable, and generally well-received idiom across the English-speaking world.
So to tie the knot means to get married, to enter into matrimony. Ready to hear Mia and Mark use this celebratory idiom in their conversation?
Let's listen in. I wonder who in their circle of friends or acquaintances might be taking this big step and getting married.
Mark, have you heard the latest exciting news about our old college friends, Lucy and Ben? They've been together for absolutely ages. Ever since our first year at university, if you can believe it.
Lucy and Ben? No, I don't think I've heard anything specific about them recently. What's up with them? Are they still living in that tiny little apartment down by the river that they had back then?
Well, they might be looking for a bigger place pretty soon. I just saw on social media they posted a beautiful picture of an engagement ring. It looks like after all these years together, they're finally going to tie the knot. Isn't that amazing?
No way. Lucy and Ben are actually getting married? That's absolutely fantastic news. I always thought they were so perfect for each other, a really great couple. So, they've officially decided to tie the knot. That's wonderful. When's the big day? Do they have a date set?
The post didn't say exactly when the wedding will be, just that they are officially engaged and incredibly happy, as you can imagine. But I'm so genuinely thrilled for them. It's wonderful to see them taking that next big step after being together for so long and through so much.
That dialogue perfectly illustrates the idiom in a very natural context. Mia used tie the knot to joyfully announce that their friends Lucy and Ben were planning to get married, and Mark understood it immediately and shared in the excitement, using the idiom himself to confirm his understanding of this significant news.
Exactly. It was a natural and common way to share the happy news about their friends getting married. The idiom tie the knot added a touch of warmth, informality, and celebration to the announcement, which is very typical of its usage.
It's a very widely used and universally understood idiom for the act of getting married, one that often brings a smile.
It is indeed. So next time you hear about a couple getting married, or if you want to talk about your own or someone else's wedding plans in a more informal way, you can confidently use the popular idiom, tie the knot.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you know any other interesting or perhaps more unusual idioms for getting married, either in English or in your own language? Share them in the comments below this episode. We're always fascinated by linguistic variety.
We always appreciate reading your comments, insights, and your own idiom discoveries. Well, Emma, we've explored 4 more really useful, common, and descriptive idioms in this episode of Idiom Insights. It's been another great session.
We certainly have, Jack. It's always enlightening. Just to quickly recap for everyone tuning into Idiom Insights today, the 4 fantastic phrases we learned are:
Firstly, picture perfect, meaning absolutely flawless, ideal, or exquisitely beautiful, like a perfect photograph.
Secondly, live and learn, a wise expression acknowledging that we gain valuable wisdom and understanding from our experiences, especially from our mistakes or misfortune.
Thirdly, neck of the woods, a charming and informal way to refer to a particular local area, neighborhood, or region that is familiar to the speaker.
And finally, tie the knot, a very common and often joyous idiom for getting married.
4 more fantastic additions to your ever-expanding English idiom collection. Remember, the real key to making these phrases a natural and fluent part of your vocabulary is to actively listen for them in real-life conversations, movies, TV shows, and books, and then to build your confidence by consciously trying to use them yourself in appropriate contexts. Don't be shy.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to experiment with them in your speaking and writing. The more you actively use them, the more comfortable you'll become, and the more fluent and natural your English will sound. It truly makes a difference.
And if you enjoyed learning with us today, and we sincerely hope you did, please consider giving this episode of Idiom Insights a like, and if you have a moment, leaving us a positive review on your podcast platform. Your support really does help us reach more learners around the world and continue creating this content that we love to make.
And most importantly, make sure you hit that subscribe or follow button for Idiom Insights so you don't miss any of our future episodes, where we'll continue to unravel the wonderful, sometimes witty, and always fascinating world of English idioms. We have many more planned for you.
Thank you all so much for joining us today on Idiom Insights. It's truly been a pleasure exploring these phrases with you and sharing our passion for language.
See ya, and happy idiom spotting.
Goodbye, everyone. Happy idiom hunting.